All right, so, BJ, you've been away, you wanna start with your,
Yeah, so I don't know, just to try to reduce it a little bit, these are, so I went through sort of department by department, line by line. And office and miscellaneous, I just thought 7.5%, just take it from everybody. You know, everybody has enough paper.
only 5% originally. That's
I know,
why
all right, so I went
figured
up.
out at 5%,
I think it's 7.5.
right?
I changed it so many times, I didn't remember, this was on all no sleep.
So what is the total? If you did it across the board at 7.5%,
Well, if you go down to the bottom, which includes other things that I cut, but I'm getting to
down to the bottom of what?
bottom of the spreadsheet. That column's added up, it's 51,800 in cuts, but it includes some cuts to salaries, salary increases. So,
Let's go line by line, let's start at the very beginning.
Okay, yep, that's what I thought.
yeah, if we start with us, right? That's the first
Yeah,
department, is the town board. That, you know, we don't take the 4%, we go to 2. And there's the savings, it's 840, it's not a significant amount. And
So
that's,
what does the total come to for that savings? 840?
I didn't do it by department. No.
Oh, you're not on the end?
yeah, kind of
Okay.
a spreadsheet.
Okay.
Somebody's,
Yeah,
I'm scared.
That's 4,004, would that be 4,400?
Now, it's only gonna be a couple of dollars per person.
yeah, the total.
$400.
Including the office and the.
Yeah.
Just a two.
Yeah,
4487.
Wait, is the 840 what you're proposing or
Yeah.
taking out?
that's what I would take out of the town board.
That's 3320 or so, what's 60?
Plus the office and miscellaneous,
So it's
that department would say
33.63.
4,400. Okay, fine.
33.63. Okay.
Shelby, as we go through these, can you pull up the 1231 figures for 2021, just to see, like, can we actually get savings in office miscellaneous or?
Can that be a little bit of function of demand? If you know this is.
Well,
what
it
you
is,
have?
for some of them, it's very specific, but we can go across.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, so
Yeah, and 4,200. We see, like, there's money left in at the end of the year, then that,
Yeah.
like, fine with that cut. Or if there's a transfer to another department, then have we, like,
Right.
can we cut there, but have we made up for, I mean, not in another department, another area in that department?
And, you know, and the other thing is, when you do, you know, if we do what I'm sort of suggesting here, which is to cut it very close to the bone, you know, if somebody's chair breaks, I mean, you really don't have any wiggle room, kind of thing, but, you know, I just, there are reserves, I guess, but contingency. But anyway, so that's 4,400 in that department, if we did that.
So it's just from all 5 of us?
Yeah,
No, 4, didn't get to me yet.
and he's separate because we get more money from Jerry. The judges, brought them down to 2%. Part of it is too, when I look at the actual dollar amount and impact on the human being that we're talking about, I don't think that's a big ask.
What page are we on for the judge?
It's just the next, it's just
The next section.
the next section. So, and like their office and office and miscellaneous is light in terms of this year at the Justice Hall.
Just so so that's what you're proposing to take out of it?
Right.
Okay.
Right, the actual savings, because I think that number's, it's interesting how these tiny amounts add up to 51,000 at the bottom.
So the 575 is what you want to take out,
Times 2.
right?
Yeah. And Jerry, you're an example of to whom much is given, much is asked. According to St. Luke. But anyway, so yeah, you at 2%. this office and miscellaneous.
And next is tax receiver.
Yeah. So again, with the 2%, just sort of a little bit zero.
Basically, you're doing all elected officials too.
Electeds, yeah, pretty much, pretty much.
Could we jump to that?
Page, I don't know what pages.
Tax receiver,
Tax receiver.
1330, account 1330.
What's 1330?
Account number.
Oh, number.
If you, you know,
Right.
helps orient you on the work.
Page 7.
Okay. Next page,
So the assessors,
assessors.
not much. Couldn't find much there, although the intern, you can see I highlighted what I assumed
Yeah.
here. And I think they're good assumptions. It's 8 weeks, 500 per week. 33 hours at $15 an hour. I mean, I did the math wrong. Is that what I'm seeing here? Yeah, I kind of, check me on this. They should have reduced it by 1,800, not 1,000, right?
How many hours a week? 33.
33.
For the intern?
That's an odd number.
That's an odd number. I think I was just trying to make it even.
Wait, time out.
32 would be better.
This is 33 hours, not a week.
Yeah, okay.
No,
yeah,
it's, what are you talking about, 30 hours?
Wait a minute, just back up a second, Jerry. I was trying to figure out where we come up with $5,000. So I just said, okay, 8 weeks at 500 a week. I just sort of said, let's just start with that in my head. And that's, so at 500 a week, at $15 an hour. Right, so, because that's the rate,
Okay.
I think, that gives you 33 hours a week. So it's a lot of time, I think, for an intern. It's almost full-time. And that, I think I did the math. No, instead, that would save us 1,800. Not the 1,000 that I have there. Do you know what I mean?
40 hour week, it would be 7 hours times $15.
Yeah, no,
Times,
that would be 42, 40, well, I did 30. So 500 a week times 8 weeks, that's 4,000.
That is 4,000. I did have it right. Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
you did the math right.
All right. So it is 1,000 off them. And like I said, I think that's also good for the department. It's a lot of hours. 8 weeks, it's July and August, or,
I mean, didn't take any of their office and miscellaneous.
I don't, because they were full up to the end, but I certainly could. I don't know, I guess I was just so focused.
They only have $215 left for this
Yeah,
year.
that's probably why. Maybe I looked at that line. And, we all know that I'm not objective when it comes to the assessors. I did the same thing for a Board of Assessment review. It's almost silly, but it was just to be consistent.
Elected.
They're not elected, but, so we come to Mrs. Ogar, and, there's 2% there too. Did the same calculation on the summer intern and the office and miscellaneous.
Okay.
Not much in attorney, just a little bit on O&M. So I just made a leap here, probably was a bad leap. Engineering department intern, he didn't use one this year, as he said he really wants one, and if he does 3,000, that might not be, I don't know what that gets us, in an engineering intern. Just don't know if the rate is different.
It is different, but
He proposed 0, and we gave him,
yeah,
We
gee,
gave
I don't
him.
remember, Jerry, why.
so,
Well, to be honest with you, that program in the past of Mr. Cronin was.
It's been very helpful.
Very successful and very helpful.
but for some reason, Joe did not.
Maybe because Joe was just new at the job. I think part of your job,
Yeah, he said it's not enough time with the person to teach. Remember he was saying that, like,
Yeah.
it's not enough time with them or to really be
Useful,
worth it for
Yeah.
him.
yeah.
It's one thing to
But it
get,
might be because if it was shared with the
I
building.
was gonna say, it would be one thing to get a building department intern, maybe not an engineer intern, and then have them enter things for GIS and do all the database updating. That would be a different thing. You
Yeah.
didn't necessarily
For him.
engineer specific.
Okay, so I took it out, and I think it stays that way. Right? Good.
well, with that in mind,
But remember, when we get the building, that maybe we want to put that in, right?
Yeah,
rest
because
of them, not so
that's the
much.
irrigation intern.
Right, so let's try it, yeah.
That wasn't covered this year, so they're kind of handling it back there, but I'm not sure
How much, yeah,
if it's properly being covered.
right.
Yeah, we kind of need to look that whole thing over anyway.
Yeah. Green options, just that. Okay, so let me know when you're.
What's the Brian Sherman one that?
2%.
It's at 2%. And custodians, we upped it over what Brian had asked for. I remember we had a discussion, but I think I was distracted. So I took the custodians increase out because I thought that the rate of pay that we're at now was sort of what we wanted to be at.
What was the cap that had been established a while
Also
ago?
have to do with hours.
Oh, that a few more hours you needed? You remember the discussion, Shel?
I think there was one person who hadn't met the cap, and then you were thinking of adding them to the fire department.
Yeah, but that's not in here.
And that would be reimbursed anyway.
Yeah, that won't,
Okay.
that'll be money in, money out.
So you gotta check that one.
I mean, because
These two lines, I just went sort of, I took a few on parks and beaches, grounds maintenance, just sort of gave it just a tiny haircut, thinking there was a little bit of space there. I don't know.
that, I think that doesn't have any of the, he still had a lot of bills to pay on that one, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, it was all the pump outs, it was some
yeah, but
I think some things he had to.
I feel like parks and beaches, some of that, I think this is why I did this. Parks and beaches, because some of that money now is going to be covered in the new line created at 10.5. So I thought maybe we were being redundant in that budget line. You know, not completely, just a little teeny overlap there. But, you know, balance remaining is
Bathroom
significant.
Yeah, I think the bathroom, like further down, the
Yeah.
parks and beaches bathroom maintenance was picking up the Crescent Beach line and the Bridge Street line.
Right.
Right, because
And
we adjusted
Wade's
that.
Beach was up in parks and beaches, I thought. And now we're gonna have bathrooms,
Right, we were gonna make like a beach line for all the bathrooms.
all the bathrooms.
Okay, so we're pulling it, it's beach piece.
But
So I think,
maybe we didn't do enough, I don't know. How are we run, I mean, we discussed the price of pump outs, but I didn't get a total of what we expected the total to be for the year.
I think it was around 10 or 11,000.
About 11, so that,
Hey, we'll get the numbers for this one.
from the, yeah, so that, you know, maybe that needs to go up a little touch, so,
Yeah, he said it was 8 pump outs,
At 800?
No, it's 750 at least.
Oh,
That's 6 grand, so 7. Maybe it was 7. I don't know what I was thinking. I have to look back.
yeah. Wade's doesn't get pumped out, right?
No.
No. All right, oops, shoot, just popped down.
Okay, town
So
board
then there wouldn't
buildings.
be a reclass
Hmm?
then. There wouldn't be a reclass
Right.
Right.
unless just the regular.
Other
maintenance.
maintenance, yeah, bathroom maintenance, just regular.
So you changed the fuel line
Did I?
on town board buildings?
Oh, wait a minute, get there, hold on, yeah. So I started with the fuel, what I did was, heating oil, what it was, a year ago, when we did budget,
Mhm.
heating oil now. The peak was $6.46. It's been on a downward trend since May, but I'm not building in more of a decrease. I'm just saying, let's use the dollar figure of that,
Right.
and so if we do of that, meaning $4.76, what it is currently, 'cause it just doesn't seem like it's gonna go up more. The other
Oh, I heard
argument,
something recently that they're
yeah,
expected to, like now that we're entering heating season.
It's going to go back up.
Up again.
I would agree with that normally. The reason I don't now is I do think we're in a recession.
Mhm.
And demand will drop just based on that for oil. But, this is all, like kind of my argument before, I'm to my own self, am I cutting this so close? That if I'm wrong on any of these assumptions, that we don't have I can see you're getting nervous.
Yeah, just,
I will keep
For good reason. I mean, but you see, at least that's what I was thinking. A 44% increase as opposed to what we had in there, which was a much bigger increase. All right.
IT and the,
Although you got Meg turning the heat on and not.
Hey, it was 62 degrees in here. It's a little chilly. I'm already wearing 2 sweaters. I'm like a little kid from,
With socks
Christmas
on.
Story. I can't put my arms down.
All right.
all right, on the equipment for IT, like, he has a detailed list.
Oh, he does?
Right, yeah,
Okay.
so if we're cutting it, how are we cutting?
Okay.
Like, we got 10 computers, 1 copier, 1 server, the USB batteries, Wi-Fi upgrades.
Kevin's like Brian, he's very close to the.
And he did
back
put
to
in
the-
1,000 for contingency, taking away.
Yeah.
contingency.
Fund. And then we have to add in the 18,000 for the increased security. Is that
Oh,
on your line item?
Where, didn't
Should-
we add that to the maintenance line?
you must have, because that maintenance line went up.
Yeah.
So that's where,
Okay.
all right, I mean, happy to remove that equipment line.
Yeah. Just because he hasn't factored in price increases on some things, he's like still
Right.
putting in like
I
5,000.
don't think anything out yet, because we're gonna go over everything.
Oh, okay.
Well, no, I just was gonna take that away as a proposed increase,
Or it's decrease.
decrease in.
I'm just doing mine in paper and pen so that I don't mess up
Yeah, that's
the
what I'm
system
doing.
here. I'm just taking all my notes on all my notes so that I'll see thought process.
What's this? Put that on the wrong line.
Okay, next is police,
Yeah.
telephone.
Yeah, but I think I have that on the wrong line. I'm sorry about that. Makes sense.
You probably wanted to know if it's miscellaneous.
Yeah, I think that's what I did.
All right, below.
Yep. Yeah. I don't think I would have the temerity to what any of the other ones.
They already went over in their telephone budget.
Yeah,
Yeah, I was gonna
Yeah.
say, no, that one can't,
Yeah.
couldn't go down. Just because
Okay, so you got that as office note.
Picking up like the-
Police.
plate readers.
Just recall on that, we take our modems for the ferries out of the telephone line and not the miscellaneous. We were flip-flopping those.
I think it was the O and M that I meant to cut you just a touch.
Except for yours.
You already done it?
Well, it was taken from 20 to 15. and we're already at 12,500.
Yeah,
Yeah, and BJ, if you go back to your opening statement, we don't have a lot of cushion in lines and budgets. It is
yeah.
miscellaneous side of things. I know what you're trying to accomplish, and I respect that.
So, what'd you say was left on O&M, Amber?
And proposed, well, it was 20,000 supervisor, but then Jerry fixed it back to Jim's 15. But if we take 2,500 from there.
Right, and we have that 7,400 as of the end of August, which is old now.
Right.
Right, yes, but I was gonna say, yeah, because we've already spent 12,500.
Right.
My office of miscellaneous has 96 cents in it right now.
All right, thank you.
There you go.
Spend it wisely.
Yeah,
No bubble
And
gum.
that's coming from 20.
yeah.
Yeah,
Jim.
that's coming
But
from
that's because we took the modem stuff out of that this year. I'm trying to get that to be more accurate.
Okay.
Okay, great.
Okay.
So the 15 that the town board, and that you requested is a good number.
I believe so.
Yeah, all right,
It's a real number.
yeah.
Okay, animal control. Same thing, office and miscellaneous.
Yeah, just a touch.
Next is town social worker.
Yeah, given that that's in flux,
I wouldn't touch that because we don't know what we're doing there.
yeah, but I mean, I would give her,
Yeah.
it's 2%, over what the
Yeah.
current candidate has. Yeah, not much, but I looked at this holistically, I was like, there was no place to just grab any cuts from that would amount to much. This almost, from my viewpoint, felt like the only way to do it. Why did I?
Okay, now you're at EMS.
uniform and equipment allowance.
I wish I made myself some notes here.
If they're tracking, we're
Right.
gonna be at 13,000 this year.
Oh, yeah, I don't know why that. Again, apologies. The fuel, I think I made the same calculation that I made before. It's miscellaneous, same thing, but I'm not sure why that utility.
Yeah, big on that one.
Yeah, neither one of those.
Negative,
Yeah, exactly, it's as of August.
right?
All right.
Should that have been on a different line?
Well, but I looked at, on either side of it, it's not a good look, they're -5 on utilities, -100 on medical. Communications,
Were you thinking building maintenance above?
yeah, or maybe communications?
But they have to upgrade their radio.
They're the radio upgrade as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah, so over the, each year, I think they're.
Yeah, doing, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's my note on here is radios.
Yeah.
So miscellaneous.
Okay, medical center.
Just the O&M, repairs and maintenance. The fuel was already at my calculated increase. Okay, that's, highway is that elected reduction. Office and miscellaneous.
This one, you're proposing a level that's below where they are through August.
Let's see,
It's already at 3848.
yeah,
So if you take it down to 3,700, or is that what you're trying to do, is get people to cut back on?
yeah, get people to be a little conscious. This line,
So
and, each department's different in terms of what they're putting in there, what they're getting. And highway and public works, they're a joint, right?
Okay, next is nutrition.
Yeah. Oh, that, I was just like, again, we're in flux there, so I brought it back to what she was earning. Jumping.
Take a look at that just to see. Because if we're gonna need to hire somebody, it seems like new hires always come in
Right.
requesting hires.
Right,
Go back a couple of years and see what that's, should we lower it? Because of experience when Sarah came in.
right.
Go off the civil service list,
Yeah,
what's the expectation for people already in that job elsewhere?
I'd like to know what that is.
Research on that one.
And my question here with nutrition is, big increase on food and appliances. Does anybody know are we buying something? Or is that just food
I
inflation?
think that was
There's
the,
replace something.
Hmm?
I think there was replace something.
Okay,
I'll check.
because,
And the price of food went up.
yeah, the price of food, but not 25, you know?
We modified it last year to 31.4.
Yeah, but and I think,
I think that was from donations.
yeah. Is that a fairly steady number over time, donations? No.
I think we got more during the pandemic.
Oh, yeah.
That's a little check that one. Okay, residential repair.
I just have a question. We have two coordinators. Wasn't sure about that.
The two coordinators used, when Karen Bennett had the job, one
Who's
coordinator,
her?
it's the county pays this. We
Oh,
broke it up to the two.
oh,
We
okay, got
divided
it.
it in half.
This is, it comes in, we pay it out.
All right, okay. And the workmen, oh, so same with the workmen, do they subsidize that? Great.
Yeah.
Okay.
Next is Silver Circle.
Mhm.
So you have Lori 2% and
Yeah. And
and
tiny amount, O&M down at
senior center.
Yeah.
Okay, senior center's the same thing. 6, 8. Okay. Next, we go to recreation,
Yeah, there's not much there.
office and miscellaneous.
3,000 off of the rec youth programs.
Yeah, yeah,
Where do you see that?
and it's 7310 at the bottom.
Oh,
Yeah. I don't know why the expenditures are so low, but it just seemed like, ooh, there's only a few months left, and I would think most of their money gets spent in the summer, but I don't.
Oh, we just had,
Did they-
we just signed some big vouchers.
Good for
I was,
Oh, yeah, like-
I think that,
Yeah, yeah.
Over 10,000.
Yeah.
I think they hadn't spent, paid their bills from the summer yet.
Yeah,
Or like they were in here.
can you look that up, Joe?
Yeah. I'm gonna look up last year.
Okay.
you tell me the number again? Is it 70 or?
7310 4, dot 4.
So last year, they spent 20,359.
I think 27 is a safe bet. Safe assumption, not terrible. It could go lower, but I wouldn't.
Is that how much, Shelby?
20,300.
We're projecting
Then the revenues were,
33,000 in the revenues there,
right.
so. We're projecting.
The revenue cut 200.
Well, without her being here, you may have a program that she's adding next year.
So we're gonna address all these woes today, and we don't do it at the work session tomorrow. Okay, next is youth center. O&M.
Yeah. I just have that highlighted question for Shelby, I know, but she's looking something else up. What was the adult program use in 2019, meaning pre-pandemic? What did we have?
Adult use where? Recreation or?
Adult,
7620.
yeah,
What year?
in 2019 for 7620. They've used very little this year.
So in 2019, it was 13,530.
Yeah. So I think we're still in a ramp up, post-pandemic ramp up, like we're not there yet.
What does that mean?
Means that I think 13,000 is okay.
We have adult rec fees, 15,000.
Hmm.
So
Do you try to balance those two lines then?
I think she does.
Yeah.
Because she'll peg like how the attendance of programs to pay for people
Mm-hmm,
to run those programs.
mm-hmm.
So if we take that.
The user fee ones are gonna be a wash, take it out.
I was gonna say.
You're taking it out of both sides.
Yeah, so it
If we take this
doesn't,
to 13, then we should take the revenues to 13.
right,
I mean, leave this one alone,
yeah.
because.
If it doesn't matter, you know, if it really has no effect on the bottom line, then, yeah. I didn't know that the revenues covered, the,
Yeah, she tries to.
Next is community housing board.
I just thought there'd be less consulting next year. Because this was the big.
I think just the
I
opposite.
was thinking the
Really?
opposite, yeah. If we're gonna try and get some project moving,
Yeah.
we're gonna need to bring in.
Right.
We're only at the tip of the iceberg, I think.
Yeah.
Okay, next is landfill.
Yeah, what do I have here? So much, you know, this year, 2022, we went to a new hazmat contract.
Oh, this hazmat personal services is what we pay our people. So
Yeah,
their salaries get allocated, I think it's 15% or 10%, something like that.
oh, okay,
So this one, we can't, like, we shouldn't touch this one.
all right. So it has nothing to do
It's like
with,
5%.
How the hazmat program is run, yeah.
yeah, because, yeah, like I said, I know we,
That would be more than the carding, I think.
Yeah, that's
Right.
further down if we had,
Hazardous card
yeah,
fee.
because we're in
We
the,
went from 60 to 50.
mhm,
yes, that's the one we should be looking at, yeah.
yeah,
Taylor's Island. I think $37.50. O&M.
ridiculous, but there you have it.
What if you're gonna go across the board, you got
Yeah.
Yeah. And Shelby says we have funds to encumber 4 bulkhead repair that the the department had requested, so that's good. Because I think they are gonna wanna move on that, or, and use public works people. So, does anybody know about piping plovers?
We put it in every
They're
year,
adorable. Ryan, usually.
but I feel like we generally, it doesn't get spent because we have volunteers who do it, or?
What are they just putting up like the little strings? I mean, I'm normally serious, and putting the signs.
They have to,
But it- monitor it.
they have to monitor it if they're gonna
Okay.
put in for like a dredging permit or something.
Oh, all right.
Yeah, like they do at Real Point, they have to monitor, not piping plovers at that time of the year, but there's another species.
Red knot or something.
Yeah, the red nuts.
Well, if we could cut that, that would be good.
By the way, awesome picture of those ducks.
They were really.
Look fake, that color.
So yeah, I think Brian says he usually has volunteers that do it.
See,
Yeah,
And if not, that money's there, like if he has to pay his own guys.
to do
like,
it,
Yeah.
yeah, extra.
lady comes and feeds them.
Really?
7, 15, you can't get within 100 yards. So
The shellfish seeding, Mary sells seashells. That comes out of the WQI budget, doesn't it?
But it hasn't in the past.
I don't know if that qualifies.
If it's oysters, it certainly should, you know?
What's the
I mean,
difference?
it's,
Well,
What's the oysters and clams?
Hey, the oysters clean a lot more. They do a lot more filtering, don't they?
Same thing.
no, habitat restoration and pollution mitigation. I thought we used by in the. No,
no. Yeah, I mean, I'm thinking through, like, is that?
I'm trying to remember, yeah.
Valid? We never have. It's been mostly rebates and then a couple of projects.
Maybe we used the, to pay for the PEP, the membership that we
Yes,
did.
that's
Okay.
the one
Right.
designated in the legislation. But we'd have to look at the,
I'm gonna look at that.
Yeah, what's the reason for the balance of 0 through the first 8 months?
I think it's just one contract that, like at the end of the year.
It's one. Okay.
Yeah.
You know what we.
That would be a nice
At the end of the
savings.
year?
Or now.
I know.
Or something.
I like it. Let's see. We'll look into that. That's the Cornell contract, right?
I actually paid at the beginning of this year. It got put back into last year.
Oh, right.
After last year.
So that's it. I didn't touch revenue.
Was 2021 agreement was for 7,500. Sure there's a contract somewhere
Yeah.
that we could look at.
See, for some reason, I thought that 75 came out of W.
Oh,
No
that's
way.
what you were thinking of?
Yeah,
For sure, we're not thinking maybe the one that we did at the PEP.
that's, I keep getting the two mixed up. I keep confusing the PEP with the shellfish seeding.
yes.
I do know I keep doing
The
that,
round number is fish.
Right.
Round number.
is PEP. I keep
60s.
I keep mixing them up in my brain.
And our share, yeah.
So I was like playing with your numbers and taking out the things that we definitely.
Habitat restoration under WQI legislation.
So what do you have there, Amber?
So I have your number now down to BJ 39,656.
Over 0.5%.
It's more like 38, 40%. That's not half.
9.4%.
To my head, seems that.
And subsection G, it says to support spawning.
So I have a couple of comments about the
go ahead.
process here. Number one, yeoman's task under the circumstances of BJ, No, I think
I
it
had to
is.
do it twice because I lost it.
No, well,
So angry at myself.
The pain.
so that's exactly what, as a relatively new board member, we're looking for, and you did a good job on that. I think there are some things that we might be able to use. Personally, I want to speak against the 4% down to 2%. I think with the rate of inflation and the CPI going up 8.3% in the last 12 months, I do think that people are entitled to a 4% raise this year. We don't normally do that, but these are not normal circumstances. So I just think for lots of reasons, I'm just not in favor of that with salaries. I think people are grossly underpaid as it is for the jobs they do. I'm not going to go in job by job, but I think across the board, people on the outside are making a lot more than people are working in town positions. And especially in the places that supervisor tried to reward.
I didn't touch any of those.
No, I'm just saying that that's something that I just, whether you're an elected official or not, I think these positions are grossly underpaid. That's my feeling. I feel strongly about it. I only have a year left on it, so it's not speaking for a monetary gain at all.
Yeah.
As you know, I've expressed my feelings in the past about what I think that, all these positions are worth. And I felt the same way well before this, that we should do, if we were doing the kind of the right thing, and still people will still be behind the eight ball because of the CPI going up over 8%, even with a 4% raise. So again, I'll back off my number in the 3.9s and that kind of stuff, and I'll back off that. But I do think that going into some of these areas, Jared, nickel and diming every one of them, and when we went through a lot of justification of why these things had to be where they were, and you're going to be in 2023 scurrying around for money, I would much rather see whether we take a year or two of the cell tower money, or we go into reserves or something else to bring the cost down, the increase down to the taxpayer. But that's my personal feeling. I think we've done a very good job in the budget. When I say we, I say both you and Amber and the department heads have done a great job putting this budget together. The three of us have played a minimal role in terms of supporting it. I just feel more comfortable in that direction. I think we're alienating enough people. I don't think we need to back off. Our intention was good, and I think it's justifiable. So that's my feeling.
Meg?
I think that we can take I can't say it, shellfish seeding out of here and put it in WQI funds. That's, yeah. Because we've used it for the Oyster Reef project.
I think there's some money that BJ has found that
No?
can come out.
We'll talk to the specific,
Look it up, but
We've,
what the reasoning was.
because I have a spreadsheet that tracks everything that we
Yeah.
spend WQI money on. We've done water quality baseline monitoring. We've got money set aside for the Wade's Beach, the rest of the IA system
Mhm.
installation, and we've done, I think there's one other thing, Shelby. I can pull up the spreadsheet. I just got like too many spreadsheets open.
No, I get that. No, I did.
If I open yet another one, but we've
Yeah.
never done anything for habitat restoration.
For habitat restoration, okay.
Yeah,
Let's see.
but I mean, it's definitely worth looking into.
Yeah.
It's just we don't have a precedent at this point of having vetted that.
Do any comments?
I'm just trying to add up what the reductions would be.
My
if we-
quick and dirty is operating in, office and miscellaneous would be $7,750. Salaries would be $32,500. And the other things I didn't have, but the other.
Yeah, I added up everything except for the salary reductions, and we go from we still have a reduction of $24,230. We did that really quickly on the fly. Let's do it.
Yeah, that's something.
And then, Jim, I haven't finished up the analysis because I want to get the budget sort of settled to like where it lands and then look at the fund balance analysis. But I do think that and I don't want to touch the cell tower component. I've got like the fund balance broken down to unassigned fund balance. Technically within that, the cell tower money is there, but we have it like designated in our heads in different buckets. And so I want to see what the truly unassigned bucket, just where it is and whether we take some out. Because when I did my like sort of analytic review over the weekend, one of the things is capital projects account for 1.5%. We increased capital projects 162,000 this year. So that's a one-time expenditure that if we're going to look at pulling from fund balance, and we've accumulated a little bit of extra fund balance over the past year, and I'm comfortable with pulling like some, close to that amount.
I think in your capital plan, though, when your capital plan is finalized, you're not going to get away from expenditures in capital planning, that there are needs that, we've identified and there that will continue, even to execute the ADA requirements of those two buildings is going to cost a fair amount of money. Now, if we end up getting grant monies and supplemental monies to help offset the cost of those implementations, it's one thing to pay feasibility studies and design phase and everything else. It's another thing to execute these plans. So I think there's going to be a need down the future. We're not going through the motions here. We are.
I don't think Amber's suggesting we take it out. I think just,
No, I'm just saying that I don't,
Yeah.
because when you said it was a one-time expenditure, I still think those expenditures are going to go in other places in capital planning. I just don't,
Right.
It may not be to design, it may be in terms of execution. If we are fortunate enough to get a grant that goes 75-25 and it's it's a $1 million expenditure to get access into those two buildings and remediation of those two buildings, we're still stuck with $250,000, in the 75-25 split. So I don't think you're going to get totally away from, and you shouldn't, because that's why you develop a capital plan. You develop a capital plan with the idea that we're not going to try to make all these corrections over the course of 1 year. It's a plan that extends out 5-10 years and beyond, and it's constantly added to as you take your town assets and try to maintain them and keep them in the best possible shape. That includes roads, buildings, and everything else, and bulkheads and docks and everything else that we own. Marine assets, which we have a lot of them. And God forbid we ever get something close to what they experience in Fort Myer, we suffer a tremendous amount of, damage to our assets that require a great deal of repair. So.
okay. All right, so we'll go over these numbers, we'll go over the questions with each department that we have to look at. And the other thing, I think tomorrow's work session, we can probably try to wrap this
Yeah,
up.
it's pretty light.
Yeah, so I think we'll try to wrap this up at the work session. Amber and I and Shelby are also working on a proposal for the salaries for civil service to try to get everything a little more coordinated, so hopefully we'll have that.
I don't know if they will get it done by tomorrow.
No, just the concept, maybe. We'll talk.
Yeah, we can talk
Yeah.
about,
Okay.
what
Yeah, we
we're
don't
trying
need the
to-
bottom line, but
Yeah,
just.
what we're
yeah.
trying to do,
Right.
just because clerks here and clerks there, everybody's kind of like all over the place.
Yeah, I mean,
It's
yeah.
kind of hard to know how to fit people in, so
Yeah.
we have to continue working on that.
To rationalize.
All right, so Jerry would like to go over the handout that we just I handed out prior to the start of the meeting. I can get copies to anybody that wants them. Town of Shelter Island 2023 budget strategies. Explaining budget increases to the community in order to keep the town's budget as low as feasible, as fiscally possible, and still be responsible. Here are the major initiatives and unfortunate realities of the 2023 budget. Under the major initiatives, obviously, we've talked about the number one thing that is on our scope here is the ADA compliance. We do now have somebody that's going to go through with the design phase over the course of this year, 2022 funds, 2023, 50,000 and 50,000. at $100,000, hopefully have a total design of how we're going to upgrade these two buildings for accessibility. That does not mean we're in total ADA compliance. It simply means that a person with a disability will be able to enter and move around and about and exit this building without any undue stress. Municipal wastewater treatment plant, I didn't even put it, I mean, there's obviously expenditure there. Fresh Pond Initiative, there's, even with WQI and Fresh Pond Neighbors Association grant monies kicking in, we'll probably be stuck with some type of fee there, but we're in the process of doing cost estimates and remediation of the pond. We will begin the hopefully design phase of this project within 2023. The upgrading of the town assets, I listed 4 of them, the Condon Dock bulkhead and South Silver Beach bulkhead. And that's something that we do every year. We try to knock off a couple of them. We did Dawn Lane and did some others this past year. The EMS expansion garage, $90,000. The power lift stretcher system at $30,000. The upgrading of the radios totaling $30,000 over the course of the next 3 years to $5,000 a year. That's a reality just for EMS. Number 3, the 2 police boat engines. If we don't get any outside funding, it'll cost the town $40,000, but we will pursue that to try to get some funding through the state. Number 4, highway funds, hopefully through the highway funds, the Chevy 3500 truck, the Mack tractor trailer at $40,000, the loader at $47,000 and change, and the new hook lift truck at $282,000 over 3 to 5 year payments, the pickup truck at $55,000 over the next 3 to 5 year payments. So obviously the highway fund, there's always things that, this is how we replaced the grinder, and this is how we replaced the excavator, and this is how we got the roof on this, through grant monies. And we also bought 3 brand new trucks, as of 3-4 years ago. But our fleet of trucks, we do a lot of work on this island, and they have to be maintained. E is 40 North Ferry. Let's not forget that we have a building next door that somehow we'll have to deal with. So it's going to be an expenditure, whether it's going to be brought down eventually or fixed up or whatever. It's on the radar of something that needs our attention sooner rather than later. F, West Neck Water District. Obviously, we're trying to do something with the infrastructure there. We're trying to offset the cost to the customers as much as possible. So we are working through, and we have submitted grants through the New York State EFC for 2023. We're also working on that bipartisan infrastructure law funds to be distributed through that fund.
But West Neck Water is not town.
No, it's a town asset. It is a town asset. They pay for it, but it is a,
It's totally covered by the users.
yes.
Right, it's
yes.
not in the
But-
budget.
No, I realize that, but I'm just trying to, the reality is it's a project that we're trying to get done, and it's 70 people, homeowners, 63 homeowners and 7 businesses with. The ferry terminal flood mitigation, 3 proposals have been sent out. They're listed there. They're 90% federal, 10% local matching funds, which I assume the ferry companies would pick up. It would maybe be a town thing, but hopefully we're working with both of those, both the North and South ferry companies, in order to address the consistent flooding that's taking place, at the ferry terminals. It's only going to get worse rather than better. So we have to take some type of steps to raise those plazas up to reduce the amount of flooding, to get emergency vehicles on and off this island during extreme high tides or storm situations. And then there were other major initiatives I probably have missed. Those are just some of them. Under unfortunate realities, CPI, as I talked about, as of September 13th, 2023, we've experienced an 8.3% increase over the past 12 months. The CPI, the Consumer Price Index, measures the percentage of change in the price of a basket of goods and services consumed by households. The supervisor and the town board have tried to build in some additional salary increases for non-union employees, approximately 4%, and for others, slightly larger increases to help offset these significant increases in the CPI. Fuel costs speak for themselves. I think we were somewhere around $100,000 deficit with fuel costs. as at least that's what I remember. Contingency budget line, we've gone from $100,000 to $210,000 to cover new contractual needs for the highway and police departments in negotiations. So we obviously have to budget monies. Hopefully, we won't have to use, we'll keep that to a minimum. The new required upgrading of police and emergency radios in Southfield, which we just covered. The advanced EMS coverage, again, 24/7 basis. The additional cost, approximately $241,000, which would be shared by Stony Brook Southampton Hospital and the town of Shelter Island. But that still works out to $120,500 for us. Paid medical leave, medical insurance, health insurance stipends, and medical requirements increase, approximately $110,000 increase in those areas. And I know I missed other realities that are in there that we can add to. Mitigation measures for the town. We've increased revenues in our general A and B and our highway DA and DB to the total of $3,163,685, which is up significantly from last year. Cell tower money I put in there, the New York State DEC 2018 Municipal Wastewater Reduction and Recycling Program grant for the excavator. That's 50% of $226,000, which will save, hopefully, bring back into the coffer $113,000 to be put back in our highway fund, and $12,900 returned to the town. I think that was for the cost of the roof, if I'm not mistaken. I didn't put that in there, but I meant to put that in there. New York State DEC 2018 MWRR grant for recycling. Oh, there's the roof money of $97,774, 50% shared. Hopefully we'll see about $49,000 coming back into the town once we submit that paperwork, which we have, and get reimbursed. That may take a while. These go on a waiting list, as they did with the excavator and grinder. The generator at the Legion Hall, total cost is $35,000, with $31,548 federal request at 90% of the grant. 2 applications have been submitted for funding, and those are the DR 4480 and DR 4615, and other mitigation measures of other grant monies, which I really didn't have the time to go through every one of them, but there's other monies that we're looking to put into into that area to help secure monies to help offset the cost of equipment and projects. That kind of gives you a little synopsis. I asked the 4 of you if you could, and Shelby, if you see anything else that we can add to major initiatives, unfortunate realities, mitigation measures. What I'd like to be able to do is to be able to hand anybody, including the press, saying, here's why the budget is up X percentage, whatever that number might be. If you're going to write an article, here's the basic article on exactly why we did what we had to do, and be responsible, not move back, but continue to move forward with, our capital plan, our ADA plans, our mitigation plans. Plans are only as good as the execution of those plans. So, those 3 things that I just mentioned are huge. The mitigation plan itself. You talk about people on Sanibel Island not being able to get off. Well, we have Big Ram and Little Ram, and people may not be able to get off. What happens if we have a medical emergency and we cannot get helicopters in the air, and we can't get boats out there in the middle of a storm to take a heart attack victim or somebody who's fallen? Right? We have to be able to raise those roads somehow. So again, we continue to look outside funding, which we will continue to do. Thank God we have this grants writer who does. Jennifer does a marvelous job, and so does the rest of the town board, looking to try to find monies to be able to support these initiatives. So that's kind of what I worked on over the weekend, justify what we've done.
Thank you both for what you did. A couple things. So I'll go over, Amber and I will try to go over as much of this as we can before the work session tomorrow to get answers on some of the questions, whether we're comfortable cutting them or not. And then just to follow a little bit up on what Jim just said, I just want to, 3 quick points I want to make. This town board has committed to address the needs of the town and projects. Sometimes we get told we're working too fast, or we're slow down and getting expert to tell us what the expert said, but we've committed to acknowledge that there are problems and we're trying to address them. Follow up a little bit on that in-house, we're very aware that the salaries of our employees need to be looked at and discussed, and want to make, fair to what, for what they're doing, but we also don't want to lose them. And the third part to that is the elected officials. I mean, I'm happy taking a 2% increase, but I think we have to look long-term, that especially with all the craziness going on, who would run for office?
I
So
know.
if we're not going to compensate them, you really, I don't know what you're going to get. So
My answer to that, just to say, is 2% isn't going to solve that problem. It's not even going to,
Well, we froze it 2 years ago.
yeah.
And, we're not trying to play catch up. We just, again, we were doing 4% across the board,
Yeah.
and I just felt that was,
Yeah.
but Jim keeps saying, the salaries need to be looked at, elected officials, when it's time for us to leave, maybe that's when we'll do it.
Right.
But, again, you have to, you don't just want people that are retired that don't need the
Correct.
income. If we're looking for people, like Meg,
Yeah.
like you, and Amber. I mean, look at Amber. Amber's, ridiculous how much time she puts in here and tries to go back and forth. So, I mean, if
And
you,
that's why I spoke for the deputy's position pretty hard for the last 3 or 4 years to make a difference there. Now, Amber's given some of that back, voluntarily.
Transferring to.
But I honestly thought, I'm here.
yeah,
I see it. I see what the efforts of, the people that work here. And I also see that this job, from a councilman's point of view, on a town board, has changed dramatically in my 7 years. I can't emphasize that enough. And if you're not, again, as going back to what Jerry said, if you want to get a bunch of old retirees that don't need the money, so to speak, to come in and do it, and, that's one thing. But I do really think that this is a job that eventually you need full-time people to make full-time commitments to this job. If you want to do it right, you got to remember that in these big towns, all these departments with all these resources doing this stuff, we don't have that here in Shelter Island. So therefore, who picks it up? We do. So you have 8, 9, 10 other meetings to go to every month. And it's not just attending the meetings, it's working through all of the problems of that associated with that committee during the course of a month. I mean, it's a lot of work. Don't tell anybody running for office, if you're going to be a councilman, that it's 15 to 20 hours a week, because it's double or triple that.
and the other thing we've heard over the years, it's not something new, is the concept of a town planner. And now we're hearing possibly, no, not a town planner, I'm sorry. Over the years, we've had the town manager. And now we're having, people say, well, maybe we need a town planner. We have put in the budget for professional services. We are interviewing people for, CEQA, reviews for us, handle. And as far as the town manager, I think we took the first step when we created the administrative assistant to the town board and supervisor. And I see that job evolving into something more than it is. We're taking away some of the committees this year, so Christina can focus more on town board emphasis. So I think we are moving in that direction, maybe not as fast as some people want, but, that's why we're elected to do this job. Okay, anybody else?
No, I just, if anybody else wants a copy, this is from 2003. I had a town clerk's office pull it for me. The Town of Shelter Island Wage and Salary Administration Program. And it was the last time that a serious study was done by a consultant to look at
What year was that?
2003.
Yeah.
So it is 20 years
20
old at
years
this point.
next year.
But I haven't had a chance to read it yet, just to kind of understand, like,
Yeah.
what did they look at, and is there a way to
That's great.
kind of,
Yeah.
at least,
Okay,
mention
so
it,
we'll continue this tomorrow at the work session.
yeah, so instead of having, we don't have anything.
There's nothing on the agenda. We have a
So,
couple interviews in executive session, but that's it.
Yeah, and I know you won't be here.
I won't be here.
And we were gonna have the consultant for the Friends of something.
Yeah, Chris
But
Gold,
that's gonna be next week.
correct.
Yeah.
Yes, yes, just
Friends
because,
of Cockles Harbor.
Thank you.
yes, yeah, we're moving it because Meg could not be here and
Yeah. it's
we
more-
want all three
Yeah,
of us.
I won't
to-
be, but, yeah,
Are you away next week?
I'm away next week, but Meg will be here. It's more important that Meg is here than Jim Copley.
Okay. Hey, I think we're done.
I know Coco wants to come in.
No, it does.
Oh,
We'll do that in executive session.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
Personally, I think it should.
Okay, thanks, everybody.
Do you have any questions or?
No, we don't usually